wonderful people. Wiser Nation. Glad to have us all here again. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much. It's a beautiful Sunday morning, the 17th of December, and here you are, keeping the faith, keeping your promise to yourself that you would be here. Here I am, and we are glad. It's been an awesome experience for me. I've had eureka moments, aha moments, times to take notes and to say this, add this to the to-do and put it in the diary. Don't write it on a piece of paper that would get lost. Add it to the diary that you're running with for 2024. You know, this is like the beginning of our 2024. So our commitments are to be written in that journal for 2024, not the one for 2023 that will be dropped. No, the one for 2024. That's what we're doing. So good morning and welcome. Do you have something by your side ready to drink, ready to write? Because the coach that is coming this morning, he will give you one or two things that will make you write. And more importantly than writing on a piece of paper, it will be writing on our hearts so that we can make it flesh. I am very grateful to have him here with us today. I am so honored, and it's for different reasons. One, he's someone that I do admire. I admire his grit, his commitment, his one-wayness. He's on a path to do one thing and he's doing it. Also, I admire him because he's fit farm like me. Sometime we got to work together in Uyo. We were doing our road walks together and I was so encouraged. I admire him. This is number 3 now because he takes his content creation seriously. And he challenged me to do that, actually. Othman, I don't think I mentioned this to you. I was like, wow, Joyce, you're joking. See, this guy doesn't play. He's like setting up, he's doing this. I'm like, Joyce, come on, because we need to do this if we are going to be seen, heard, recognized, and fulfill the promise of the brand. And of course, I honor and recognize him because he elevates. He continued to elevate. He's a business leadership coach. He's also a member of the Forbes Coaches Council, a certified Maxwell leadership coach, behavioral analysis consultant. As Africa's top business leadership coach, he has been honored to work with diverse sets of executives, aspiring executives in different countries across the African continent. And he applies himself to live events, books, podcasts, personal coaching. He recently had a massive conference that I was saying to him, guy, I don't know how you're doing this because, man, but just because he's all about impact. My brother, the boss, the Othman, good to have you. And the final reason, just before I let you, is I have always said that wisdom has no respect for religion, gender, race, ethnicity, right? So this is across board. It's for everyone from everywhere. And when I was like, Othman, I hope you would say yes. And when you said yes, I was like, yes. In fact, you didn't even ask, like, why is that?
What is it about? No, so here's the thing that you don't know, right? Like, I mean, the time that we did that training at Uyo, a life-changing moment in my life, right? Getting to learn from you, how you were training, and then even during our walks, those conversations that we're having. And I put you in a place where you're the kind of person that says, if you say jump, there's only 2 questions I'll ask. One is how high. The second one is that, is it the moon or the sun you want us to bring down? So anyhow, we'll go.
Thank you so much, bro. I'm so grateful. Thank you. So I'm going to take the back seat now and leave you to Wiser Nation. Everyone, let me see the chat. Oh, I left the chat for a bit.
Yeah, the chat.
Yes, there's a lot of welcome in there. So welcome. All right, bro. Over to you.
All right, awesome. Welcome everybody. Good morning. I'm so excited to be here actually, right? And the interesting thing is when Joyce asked me, to come and host a particular day, And I was just saying, okay, which day? And the truth is that the content that chose the day, like it was because so I had my show and all that, my summit and all that, and then we now decided on okay, 17th. We just said 17th. The day was already set, and then I now went to go and do a bit of research. Ha, my people, so when I was looking at that Proverbs 17, it was mind blowing. And the truth is, so from the first part, right? I feel like if the whole 1 hour we can spend it on just the first part, right? Just that first part. And the first part says, a meal of bread and water in contented peace is better than a banquet spiced with quarrels. Hey, guys, let me tell you one interesting thing. You see, the biggest issue that happens in our life, most times is as a result of communication breakdown. And the truth is that going into 2024, and I always say this, right? Your business, your work, whatever it is that you do, can only grow to the level that your spouse allows it to grow. So that for those of you that are married, right? Or for those of you that are in the family, can only grow to the level that your family allows it. And I'll give you an example. So think about it this way: like you wake up in the morning and you want to go to work, and then you have a disagreement or a quarrel with your spouse. Would you be able to give your best at work? No. And so it's better for you to be at home, right? And the only thing that you're eating is bread and water than for you to have like a banquet. And we've seen this a lot, right? Where we think that money is the thing that brings happiness, right? And you see that most times people are at home, they have everything, but then there's no peace of mind. So I think that going into 2024, one thing that you must, and I feel like the entire theme of this Proverbs 17 is about just being a peaceful person, right? So think about it, and this is for both genders. Sometimes, as a guy, you have a lot on your head, you want to provide for your family and all those kind of things. And and what tends to happen is that you become so stressed that as a result of that stress, and let me tell you what will happen. You come home and you're just lashing out at everybody. But what this is saying, and what I'm unpacking from this, is it's not about how much you have. It's not about having a banquet and all that, right? It's all about, okay, see, look, today we don't have, and it's okay. As long as we have peace in our home, we're happy. So this is an advice for the guys, right? So for the guys, don't be carrying things on your chest too much. And for the ladies, right? And this is talking more like for the married couple, right? And for the women, just try as much as possible that even if the guy, can't fulfill the certain obligations. I'm not saying that the guy should be lazy, but if you can't fulfill certain obligations, just allow allow peace to reign, right? So your growth in 2024 really and truly is going to be dependent on the peace in your home. And this is now, let's take it to the broader spectrum, regardless of which home you come from. So if you're not married and you're living with your family, with your parents, try to be peaceful with your parents. I remember a quick story. One, growing up, I was very, very cantankerous. Like I wanted to leave the house quickly. Like I just wanted to always leave, you know. And one time someone gave me an advice and said, look, listen, whatever blessings you're looking for outside, it will be multiplied dependent on how happy your parents are with you. And that kind of just changed it for me. And honestly, I just did a 360. I stopped being cantankerous. I stopped being fighting everybody. I started to relax and just allow my parents to be happy. And the truth is, honestly, the prayers of our parents takes us far, right? So the second one says that a wise servant takes charge of an unruly child and is honored as one of the family. What does this mean? Simply, and it's still coming back to that cantankerous nature. So imagine you have a servant. So I mean, in the world that we live in now, I mean, you don't have servants, but you have like maybe a cousin, a relative that came from the village, right? And then you have a child of a parent, and that child is unruly, is running up and down, causing chaos, stealing, doing all those kind of things, right? And then compared to this cousin that came from the village that is calm, collected and all that, most times you will see that the cousin that is not even the member of the family will be more elevated than the child itself. So typically, people would naturally gravitate towards where there's peace, even if they are not part of your family. So your family members will raise up people, that are more at peace than you that is, being cantankerous and all that. So I think that the thing that I'll unpack from this is that regardless of what station you are in life, right, having wisdom and being a calm person, or being the kind of person that lives and let lives, it will elevate you. I mean, I've seen situations, and let me bring you back to the work that I do, trainings. I've seen clients that I've worked with. So I'll give you guys a particular example. There's a client that I worked with, and the client, we had a training in Kigali, right? We had a training in Kigali, and I was supposed to go to Kigali. They sent the funds that we needed in Kigali, but there was bank issues. Do you know that fund did not arrive in my account till a day for me to come back? And when I told the guy, I was like, "Oh, sir, the funds just arrived." He was like, "But what happened? How did you do it?" I was like, "No, you had already told me that work needed to be done now, so I used my own funds." I know there are certain trainers that they will say they won't move until you pay them. Now, and I'm not saying that that's wrong. I mean, that's everybody has the business model that they run, right? But for me, I felt like it was wisdom for me to, because I knew that these guys had potential, and I knew that we had gone a long way. It was wise for me to just suspend my own personal inclinations and just go for the greater good, right? So I think that going into 2024 is very important for us to, have that wisdom to not always fight. It's not every battle that you need to fight, right? We like this, especially with Twitter these days. People just like to drag people, we're woke, we're saying that no, I can't take it. It's for my mental health. I must step you down. Sometimes, right? You have to just relax, stoop to conquer. And the interesting thing is that regardless of your station, and this is what this is reminding us, regardless of your station, if you stoop, you will be elevated higher than even someone that is from that family as well, right? 3, as silver in a crucible and gold in a pan, so our lives are refined by God. First of all, I don't know why this is 1 hour, because I don't know. But let me just tell you guys. So, you see, what makes silver pure and what makes gold pure? Right? Let me ask you guys in the comments, what do you think? What makes silver pure? How do they purify silver? How do they purify metals? And what makes gold pure? Let me see if you guys are following me. What do you think makes it pure? Heat. Yep. Fire. Thank you very much. Fire or heat. So, so here's the interesting thing. So, what this is a reminder that, okay, listen, silver is made pure by fire, right? Gold is made pure by fire. And then your life is refined by God. How do you think God is going to refine your life? So you think that you are special. Silver should go through fire. Gold should go through fire. But no, me, baby girl, baby boy, I don't have to go through fire. It's a lie. Fire will come. And guess what? And it's fine. Right? So for example, I'm a Muslim, right? And there's one particular verse of the Quran that really resonates with me and helps me in times of chaos. And it's a verse where God said, in difficulty there is ease. But that's not the part that just blows my mind. Is that immediately the verse after now says, verily in difficulty there is ease. Now here's an interesting thing. Whenever I'm going through trials, fire, and all those things, I remember that verse, and it says, in difficulty there is ease. But usually these things are lost in translation, right? So the Quran is written in Arabic, right? And when we are translating in English, there's a bit of, there's a bit of there's a way that we unpack it. So most people, when they are translating this particular verse, right, this particular ayah, they say after difficulty comes ease. Because, so I'll just tell you guys what the Arabic term is, right? So the Arabic term is innamal usri yusra, right? So after with difficulty comes ease, but the Arabic term for after is not ma'a, is ba'ada, after, ba'ada. Ma'a means with. So the real way to unpack it is that with that difficulty, it's not after. Most times we think that after difficulty comes ease. No, it is with the difficulty. The ease comes inside the difficulty. You just have to be patient enough to unpack it. You just have to be patient enough to be able to sieve through the dirt and see what that is. I'll give you guys an interesting scenario. So I worked in oil and gas for about a decade, more than a decade. And I said I was going to resign and I was going to consulting and all those kind of things. And this was 2020, October. I'll never forget the date, 30th October 2020. And the reason why I won't forget the date was because this was 10 days after the whole NSAS thing. And that was my last day at work. I was supposed to, it was a Friday. I was supposed to just, go to the office, drop my laptop, take my friends out for lunch, come back, take my wife for dinner. I planned my day. Wiserians. At 1 a.m., I had a scream in the room next door, right, in the nanny's room, and we had just had kids then. My kids were about 1. Now that's even another story. Let me just share, because let me give you guys the context. So we had been married for 8 years that time. So for the first 7 years of our marriage, we didn't have kids, and it's not like we did not want. We're waiting, and then the kids come, they're twins, a boy and a girl. See, when God tells you to wait, when He wants to bless you, it's double. So at 1 a.m., I had a cry. I had a scream in the nanny's room. And I opened the door. Just to open the door, I saw a gun to my head. Long story short, it was armed robbers. They came, they robbed us and everything. While they were robbing us, I had a smile on my face. And my wife thought I had lost it. And after, when we were unpacking it, she was telling me, but how were you able to, why did you have a smile on your face? I was like, because I remembered, verily in difficulty there's ease. So I knew that this fire that was coming, wasn't coming to, it was coming to purify me. They took everything, laptop, iPad, everything. And when I was resigning from my job, I made a statement. I said, with my iPad, with my laptop, with my phone, I'm good. Guess what? They took everything. Jonathan, and I just smiled. I just said, God, I know it's you. And this was 3 years ago. The people that were my bosses then that I couldn't even see, like people that you can't even see, are the people that I'm sharing platforms with, are the people that I'm rolling with. Exactly. He wants you to be totally dependent on him. And so when I just said, look, you are the best disposer of my affairs. If you follow me on Instagram, I always say it. I always say this, and people think that it's like maybe I'm bragging or something. No, it's that I'm saying that, look, it's too late to fail, because he's the best disposer of my affairs, and I've given him total control. I'm like, look, I just submit to you. Just how you want my life to be, let it just be. Do you understand? So when heat comes, and 2024, ladies and gentlemen, heat is going to come. The level of your patience determines the level of the blessings that will come after it. And so when you are going into 2024, right? The next point is evil people relish malicious conversations. The ears of liars itch for dirty gossip. You see, this gossip of a thing, it's so serious. So in my faith, right? What we believe is that the prophet taught us that if you gossip against your brother or your sister, it's like you're eating their flesh. And so think about it. Would you want? And that was the example he gave. He said, "Would you want to eat your brother's flesh?" They said no. So they said, "Okay, when you gossip and you backbite, it is as if you're eating your brother's flesh." And on the day of judgment, right, there are people that are going to be raised up and they'll be seen to be eating people's human flesh. And those are the people that carried backbiting on top their head. That's a serious take on gossiping. And so when you know how, you see, when most times, right, when our religious teachers are teaching us, they use examples to show you the gravity. Because sometimes you're like a cannibal. So because sometimes we don't see the gravity, right? We think, somebody passes. You see that guy we did here. Now Yahoo boy, they do anyhow. Whether it's true, whether it's not true, that's not your business. Right? So going into 2024, do not look, rank people. I want you to sit down and rank people. If the people that come to you mostly are always talking about other people, please find a way to run away from them. When the people that come to you are talking about, how to go forward, please, those are the people that you want to associate with. Because the truth is that if you show me 5 of your friends, I can't tell you who you are. So the interesting thing about gossip is that when they gossip to you about somebody, be sure that they will gossip about you to the other person again. So do not, and this is also profound, right? It is evil people that relish malicious conversation. Choose your association. So when you see yourself sitting there, you're happy. I beg, give me this. What did that babe do? Ask yourself that: are you evil? Right? And so going to the next point, right? Whoever mocks people insults their creator. Gloating over misfortune is a punishable crime. Think about it this way, right? You mock somebody because all of us, you see, God is for all of us. John's are not like this for all of us. So when you see somebody going through trials and you're mocking that person, automatically it's like you're mocking God. Right? And also we also have a belief, right? That if you mock somebody about a sin or something that they did, you will not die until you commit that same sin. Because God's own way of saying, focus on your focus. Nothing concerns you with waiting for another person they do. Sorry, I'm speaking broken. You have no business with what someone else is doing. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So you have to be able to look at it this way and say, if somebody else is going through trials or something, pray for them. Do you know that something as simple as a car accident, instead of it say, hey, with all these drunk Abuja drivers, all these Lagos people, just pray for them. I say, oh God, please protect people. Because guess what? As they are praying for, and that's another thing that we also believe, as Muslims, is that if you pray for someone, right, as the angels are taking your prayer up and are saying amen, it's a direct prayer to you as well. So if I pray for protection for someone, automatically I'm praying for protection for myself. You will say the pidgin you want. I don't know. JD is international now. So I know that most of our crowd might be, international people.
Ross,
So
I
I did
beg
not
broke
want
the
to.
thing. That's what we did do for you.
All right, now no wahala, right? So exactly, you don't know tomorrow. You understand? No go pour sansan inside your own garri. Do you get? You have to allow people when people are going through trials and tribulations and something. The least you can do is to pray for them. So this it's following. First of all, don't backbite. So don't go and carry somebody's story to go and tell another person. That's one. Two, as you're not backbiting, the second thing that you shouldn't do is don't gloat. Instead, pray for them, right? And now going to the next point, it says, old people are distinguished by grandchildren. Children take pride in their parents. This is all about raising the next generation. What are you instilling in the lives of your children, which will now carry on to your grandchildren? Because the truth is, and this is very profound, right? All people are distinguished by grandchildren. It's that the true pride of grandparents is in the grandchildren. That's why most times, African parents, if you are waiting for children, they will disturb your life. They'll be like, how far now? How far? What's up? Every day, text, call. Do you understand? And what it does is that it's just because it's like the sweat of their labor. It's not you. You're a byproduct of their life, right? You happen whether or whether. But for the grandchildren, when they see how the grandchildren are being raised, that's talking about legacy. And so, do you want your family legacy to be that of backbiting, of gossip? Because children don't do what you tell them to do, they do what they see you do. So, you guys sit down on dinner table. You now come, Baba Ebeji, do you know that our neighbor, yeah, he did this, he did this? I'm like, are you serious? Your children are looking at you and they're learning from you. And what will happen is they will take on those kind of characteristics. And to them, they will feel like backbiting, gossiping, all those things are normal. And so as we go into 2024, we must be very, very, very intentional about the legacy that we want to pass on to our children. Parenting is not for the weak. No, intentional parenting is not for the weak. That's a more, because everybody can parent, but to be intentional, my goodness, that's a different kettle of fish. Because what now happens is that your children are not going to do what you tell them to do. I mean, recently I started playing golf, right? And I've been obsessed with golf. And all of a sudden, now my children are always like saying, "Oh, Daddy, you want to play golf?" I'm like, look at you guys, right? And it's just something that they've taken up, right? I swim, my children swim. I ride horses, my children ride horses. I go hiking, my children go hiking. So it's because they're already seeing. It's like what they are seeing. It's not unusual, but we have to be intentional about the things we want to instill in our children. You're asking your children to pray. Have they seen you pray? Do you understand? You're asking your children to read, not to touch their phone. Have they seen you read? Don't go and be pressing phone and be saying, go and read your book. Have they seen you read? If you want your children to read, one of the things you do is that you too start to read. They will copy you. They are not aware. The buck stops with you. You have to make sure that whatever generational problems you're having, end it with you. Generational problems of shouting, end it with you. Generational problems of gossiping, end it with you. Generational problems of doing unnecessary things, end it with you. And don't push it on. And because the truth is, because children take pride in their parents, you need to see how your children look at you. I mean, there was a day I can't remember where we went to. And I'm a stunt person, so I do crazy things, handstand, some stuff like this. And I think I did one of those stunts that I do. And my wife was telling me that I needed to see how my son was looking at me. He was looking at me like, wow, so my daddy can do this. Wow. Like it was, that kind of thing. And that's truth. We always take pride in our parents. But if we don't take pride in our parents, if our parents are not portraying, or we as parents, if we're not portraying the the right example, how would they take pride in us? Which brings us to the next point. We don't expect eloquence from fools, nor do we expect lies from our leaders. When I talk about leadership, right? And I'm a leadership trainer. When I talk about leadership, I don't like to talk about leadership the way normal Nigerians talk about leadership. They say leadership, the people at the top. No, auntie, uncle. Leadership is not the people at the top. Leadership is you. You are a leader because leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. Who are you influencing? So the truth is, exactly, have you led yourself successfully? The truth is, for you to be able to be a good leader, and I'm going to use a lens of family now. You shouldn't lie to your children. And we say these small white lies where we say, oh, go and wear your shoe. I'll be right back. And then by the time they come, you have left. What are you training them? You're teaching them to lie. I remember there was a day we went to the hospital. One of the twins wasn't feeling too well. I went to the hospital and the doctor said, oh, we're not going to give you injection. And the truth is, he was going to be injected. So we told him, we're like, no, don't say that. I told my son that you're going to get an injection. It's going to hurt, but it will hurt temporarily and it's going to make you feel better later. And the interesting thing was that the owner of the hospital was around at that time. She came in and she was just watching the exchange. So my son was like, Daddy, I don't want injection. As I listen, they're going to inject you. Clear. Because even if they don't inject you for injection, they were going to take blood. So you are going to be pricked, whether you like it or not. But it's going to hurt a few seconds and you will feel better later. That was the conversation that we were having. And the woman was just looking, she was like, ah. And when it came to injection, I just told him, remember, it's going to hurt a bit. But you're strong now, you're not. I said, show me your power. He showed me his power. I said, show me your power. He showed me his power. And I said, go ahead. And then they gave him the injection. They took the blood and everything. So going into 2024, we have to be very, very clear about not lying to the people that are in our charge. Even if it's little white lies, you think you're lying to protect them, but it's better for you to have an honest conversation with them because you see, these people, they're smarter than you think. Right now, my children are 4 years old. The kind of questions they used to ask me, and they don't forget. I don't know if you get, they don't forget. You tell them one thing, they will catch you, they will set you up, and then see whether you are consistent with the things that you say. So you can tell them, oh, I'll take you guys to the park tomorrow. They say tomorrow, you say yes. They say okay. So when they now come and meet you, they now be like, Daddy, is it tomorrow yet? You say yes, it's tomorrow. You say, so are you going to take us to the park? So we must be intentional never to say what we don't intend to do. That's one. But if peradventure we can't do it, let us also have an honest conversation with them and tell them, look, I know I told you that we're going to, but I'm sorry, situations beyond my control. Right? And truth is, so bringing us to the next point, right, is receiving a gift is like getting a rare gemstone. Any way you look at it, you see beauty refracted. Regardless of what we do going into 2024, right? We have to be intentional. So, And I've seen in the comment section, right? People are saying, but daddy, you said, and it's true, right? We have to be intentional. And the honest truth is that going into 2024, I think that what we want to look at is whatever gifts we're giving, whatever situations we find ourselves, take it like a rare gemstone. Do you understand? Take it. And I think that this is not talking about gifts. The way I'm unpacking it is seen as if, remember from the beginning, we had said that a silver is in a crucible and gold in a pan. The gift that we're talking about, rare gems. So you see, there's an interesting thing if you look at the thematic ways that it's arranged. So you first talked about silver and gold in a pan, and our lives are refined by God. And then now it's coming about receiving gifts and a rare gemstone. So silver, gold, rare gemstones. Those are really those are all the things that we're looking at. And so when negative experiences come, right, it is better for us to look at them as gifts, look at them as rare gemstones, because it is the way the diamond is refracting light and looking beautiful. That's how the gift that you're receiving, which is the basketballs that you're receiving, is refracting you to become a better person. So JD was talking about how do we, host physical events like that. So the boss summit that I held we had about 120 participants, and it drained me. It took my soul. That thing drained me. Do you understand? And but the truth is, I woke up the next morning, and I'm dramatic, right? So I woke up the next morning and I was going for a fair. And guess the shirt I decided to wear? I decided to wear my Superman t-shirt because I was walking around like I had an S on my chest because I felt invisible because of the gift of the stress. Waking up the next morning, understanding that, look, I've, we've overcome, automatically just made me feel stronger, right? So going into 2024, the next point is really profound. Overlook an offense and bond a friendship. Fasting onto a slight and goodbye friend. Most times we want to call people out. I'll call you out. What do you mean? My mental health. I'll call you out. We always do that. But you don't realize that sometimes overlook an offense. Just let it go. And this works to the people in your house. Right? You have your nannies, your driver. So your driver makes a mistake. You say, how many times have I told you? Get sense, the C road. But if you just overlook, he knows that you saw it, but you overlook. That's why we complain that our staff don't stay with us. I give you guys an interesting scenario. So when my children were about 2 years old, my son had a habit of wanting to lock doors. He would run inside the room and lock the door. And we told the nanny, and because they are twins, and because they are my children, I know myself. We have energy for days. We hired 2 people to take care of them because we know that one person, they will just drive the person crazy. So there are 2 people, and we said at every point in time, you guys need to be together. You guys need to be with them. Put your eye on them. So this particular day, we had gone out with my wife. We had gone somewhere. And then the nanny now calls and she's crying. And I'm like, what's the issue? She's like, oh, that my son had gotten into the toilet and locked himself. So we came back. We couldn't break the door, obviously, because he was standing behind the door and he was really scared and he was upstairs. So I had to now go and get a ladder, right? I got a ladder, put it by the window, called him to climb luckily there was something he could climb. He climbed and came to the window and I held his hand and I was looking at him and I was like, just look at me. Are you? Then I told them that he's with me. They should break the door. So we got the security guy. The security guy broke the door. When he broke the door, my wife was crying. Tears. You know that kind of cry with tears, because the boy had cried. He had cried. And then we opened it. And we came in, she picked up this boy, and then so the nanny kept apologizing. I'm so sorry, We never said anything to her. We didn't even shout, we didn't even scold, we didn't do anything. I just told my wife, look, let it be. It's fine. He's fine, right? It's only the door that is broken. It's fine. Now she's been with us, we thank God, for about 3 years now, 3 years plus. And it's not typical in this part of the country, because most times they go home, they don't come back. But I know it's those little things, because she goes to our friends' houses and she sees how our friends treat their nannies, and they know. So most times, if you want people to stay with you, I think that um, you have to be able to overlook an offense. I have a saying that says, if it's not going to matter in 5 years, don't spend 5 minutes on it, right? And also the second point, right? I mean, the next point, a quiet rebuke to a person of good sense does more than a whack on the head of a fool. So you don't have to shout. You don't have to correct somebody. Don't shout. Don't call the person. You see this thing that you did, oh, make sense. No, try them again. Do you understand? So it's just putting up following that point. So we have to be sure that we don't, because of this whole woke culture, right? You don't want to be the kind of person that is always shouting every small thing. You didn't put this table here. You didn't do this thing here. You didn't do that. Calm down. And I think that this next point even buttresses that point. Say criminals out looking for nothing but trouble won't have to wait long. They will meet it coming and going. So when you find yourself shouting up and down, just ask yourself, are you a criminal? Because if you are not a criminal, why are you looking for trouble up and down? And if you are looking for trouble up and down, guess what will happen? You will find it. So live and let live. That's why you find that you are watching from CCTV. They are knocking your child. They're only knocking your child because you have shown them that you only understand violence. You don't like peace, right? So, and I think that this next point, right? Better to meet a grizzly robbed of her cubs than a fool hell bent on folly. I think it's a reminder. So after all these things that we've talked about, be nice to people. Be nice to people. You know, don't allow things get you ruffled. And it's a reminder to us after reading this. It's telling us that, listen, right? Are you hell bent on your folly? You have to change your life. Because if you're hell bent on the folly of shouting, no, that's why I be. I they give them hot. You try me, I go just burn you. You know, have you seen a grizzly that is robbed of her cubs? It's hysteric. It's just trying to just scatter everywhere. Do you understand? So it's a reminder that if you don't change your life going into 2024, if you don't change, all the things that you're doing, you're going to be like a grizzly robbed of a corpse. It's like you're not sensible. Do you understand? So going into 2024, and you want to have a wise way of doing things, it's not by shouting. It's not by raising your voice. Do you understand? There's a way you can get people to do things without necessarily raising your voice in a calm way. And the truth is, I feel like even this next point is buttressing what I'm saying. Those who return evil for good will meet their own evil returning. So, for example, you have a nanny that's taking care of your child. You go to work, peace of mind. And then you come back just because they didn't sweep or they didn't do something, you're shouting on them. But the good they did was that they took care of your child so that you could concentrate on work. But instead of you to pay it back with good, you decided to pay it back with evil. You will meet your own evil in front. This life is tit for tat. So they too do something to you. I don't know if you get, or a situation whereby they don't have. I see this a lot, and I can't understand it. There are houses where so the nannies and the people that work in the house can't eat certain foods. I've gone to a house where you know they can't even drink tea. Now eat bread. Bread. Oh. Jonathan, like you are using food to distinguish. For example, one of the intentional things that we made sure we did in the house was everybody eats the same thing from the same cooler. You come, you fetch your thing, you go. Jonathan. So one of the things that I realized is for us, how do you ensure, right, that you are not those that are returning evil for good, right? And one of the ways that you can make sure that you don't return evil for good is live and let live. Live and let live. And then this second point is further buttressing it. The start of a quarrel is like a leak in a dam. Stop it before it bursts. You only know the beginning of something. You don't know the end. No, go say, now I have proof. I'll show you. And especially with couples, right? We do this thing where we always try to get one up on our spouse. Now I have evidence. You did this to me now. And you're just starting, especially for men. Because you see, men, we forget a lot, right? Because so many things are in your head. You now want to go and fight. And then guess what happens? You don't know that there's a dossier of all the things that you have done, right? And then when the dam bursts, you now don't even understand what's going on, right? So I feel like for this one it's just to buttress the point that don't go and be fighting up and down, right? You see that from the beginning. From the beginning, it was talking of a meal of bread and water in contented peace is better than a banquet spiced with quarrel. It's talking of it's everything here is like how to have a better home. Do you understand? How to have a better home and a better country and a better nation is that these are the little steps that we need to take, right? And then the next one, I think this is now coming from the home, is don't start a quarrel. But then when we go outside, let's not whitewash bad people and throw mud on good people. Because those two are equally abhorrent to God. What does it mean? Because we know somebody has bad character, but because the person gives us money, we whitewash the person. Hey, honorable. And I always say this thing that how we can end corruption as a country is for you to go back to the family system. Because I'll give you an example. If your family knows you earn a particular amount of money and they know that this money that you earn, you can't use it to buy the car that you are using. Biko, where did you see the money to buy that car from? One of the interesting things that happened to me growing up was I borrowed a video game, Game Boy. Those days, we had Game Boy. So I borrowed Game Boy from one of my friends and I took home. Hey, my mom beat me. She told me, in your life, never, ever, ever, ever do that again. And so it shaped how I look at life. So I stopped coveting what other people had. Do you understand? And so I always learn to live content. I'm not looking at other things. So whatever I have is what I have. I'll give you an example. So day before yesterday, 15th December, right, was my 11th year wedding anniversary. But I was in Lagos. I went for a training. I came back yesterday morning. So when I came back, I was not telling my friends, okay, have a bath, let's go out. So we wanted to go out for a date, right, to commemorate our 11 years. And then when I'm having a conversation with my friend, I was like, she doesn't even know that this going out, by the time we go, we'll not spend money that is unnecessary. And at that time, they had just finished making lunch. And lunch was beans, fish, and plantain. And we both love that. So my wife was like, see, are you sure let's not just bone this dinner date? She was like, because we have other plans of some things we want to do during the holidays. She was like, you know what, just save the money. I said, okay, you know what, let's still go out. Let it not be that we did not go out. Let's go out. Guess where we went to? We went out to buy granite because the granite at home had finished. We went out to buy granite, and then she wanted popcorn. We bought popcorn, and then we came back home. When we came back home, we now settled down. Me, I made gari. Then we bought bread. Yes, there's this bakery near the house. We bought hot bread. Bought it, came home. By the time I came home, she was eating the bread and the beans. I was eating the gari and the gari, the beans and the granite. And then I now told her, happy anniversary. And then she just burst out laughing. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because we need to be able to live within our means. We need to be able to live and because if the family allows you to be vulnerable, to live within your means, you will not covet those big things. Right? Next point. What's this? Fools out shopping for wisdom. They won't recognize it even if they saw it. And what this is telling you and what this is advising you is for you to be more intentional, to be more receptive of wisdom. Don't be like, because if you behave as if, you know, in terms like this, you behave like a fool, what will happen is you wouldn't, even if you see wisdom, you will not be able to recognize it. Jonathan. And it's just like saying that, look, if you're not able to pick out things from these conversations that we're having, right? Going into 2024, when you see wisdom, it will hit you in the head and you'll not even recognize it. Right? So next point says friends love through all kinds of weather and families stick together in all kinds of trouble. It's just buttressing what I'm saying, right? Today, so last year during our 10th wedding anniversary, we traveled out of the country, right? And then this year during our 11th wedding anniversary, we are drinking gari. In fact, the interesting thing, by the time my children saw us drinking gari, they today now say they want to drink gari. So all of us sat down and we're drinking gari, we drank gari. And it's not, and it really doesn't matter. Do you understand? It's this whole commercialization of, oh, I want balloons and roses, and then you now go out of your way, stress yourself to do all those things, then you now come back, all of you are upset. It's not better for you to drink gari and be happy. You see, it's coming back to that first point. I didn't even realize it then, but that first point, it's better for you to have bread and water. In our case, we had bread and gari and granite, right? And so this point is trying to like just give you Garibasu exactly. It's saying, it's stupid to try to get something for nothing or run up huge bills you can never pay. Always understand that whatever it is you want to get, you have to give something in return. Jonathan, you have to be able to give something in return. And it doesn't make sense for you to run up huge bills just because you want to live with the Joneses. So now I could have said that. And truth is, it's not even brokerage that even made me do all go ahead. She just thought about it that, look, it's not even too sensible for us to go and spend too much money. I know the economy is biting. Jonathan, every day is hard everywhere. But imagine if I say, no, we need to take picture for the gram. So we have to go out, we have to do this, we have to do, and then we just stress ourselves for nothing. There's a cost for everything. So are you going to take the cost that robs you of your peace of mind? When we're looking at cost-benefit analysis, when you're doing your scale of preference, peace should be the most important thing. Don't do things that will require you to have to now stress yourself later. Because you see, and this is the next point is very profound, and I think that is really talking about the family as well. The person who courts sin marries trouble. Build a wall, invite a burglar. You see, the thing about sins is that it's actually a gateway. You see, when the devil wants to finish you, you'll be looking for different things. Different things. So it's the things that you are most likely, I don't know the English word to use. But the Arabic word is nafs. Nafs is like yourself, like your pleasure. Exactly. So the nafs is like, it's like yourself, but yourself always wants pleasure, always wants, good things, party, all those other things, right? But you must be able to fight that. You must be able to discipline that. You must be able to train that, to make sure that you don't subscribe to those things. You're not jumping up and down doing things that the society says is good. Because once you do that, guess what happens? Trouble starts to come. You know, a sin like gambling, for example. Before you know anything, poverty will come. You start to sell things. Before you know anything, you go and rob. Before it always escalates, right? So it's important that going into 2024, as much, I mean, we can't be sinless. Jonathan, we can't be sinless. Like, but try as much as possible to discipline yourself. Two things that I found that have helped is one, workouts, right? Working out consistently helps you to discipline yourself. Fasting also I found is very, very helpful. Fasting helps you to kind of like just discipline yourself so that you're more composed. Because sometimes eating too much is 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 like a it's like you're just living life anyhow, right? So the next point, a bad motive can't achieve a good end. Double talk brings you double trouble. Always have good intention. So it's all about coming back to being intentional, right? Whatever it is that you're doing, purify your intentions. Don't go into things with a bad motive. Don't say, I'll show them. This is my success. When I blow, I go show them. You're not going to blow. Don't blow because you want to show people. Do you understand? Blow because you want to help people, because you want to be a manifestation of the glory of God. Don't blow because you want to pepper them. I go buy phone, I go pepper them. You will enter trouble. Do you understand? Right? And the truth is, if this is like a warning for you, for us, for me, for you, all of us. Having a fool for a child is misery. It's no fun being the parent of adults. All of us love our children, right? So this is reminding us that if we don't discipline ourselves, we're going to be a source of misery to our parents. So this is like trying to buttress the point, say, okay, all these things that you have heard, take action. If not, you'll be a misery to your parents. And nobody wants to be, miserable to their parents, right? The next point, a cheerful, this is, I think of all this is like my favorite point. A cheerful disposition is good for your health. Gloom and doom leave you bone tired. And a lot of times we used to tight our chest. Now you serious pass for this Africa. You have to learn to have a cheerful disposition. You have to learn to be very open and free. I'll tell you guys an interesting thing. I learned something from JD when we had that training. So usually when I'm in training mode, because I'm a very task-oriented person, when I'm in training mode, I'm training. No, nobody should talk to me. That kind of thing. And so, but I noticed that one of the things I learned was I saw how she was very free. Sometimes she wouldn't pick call and do video selfie with the participants. And I'm like, wow. I learned that. And I implemented that. So now even when I'm in training, sometimes I can call my children and I'm like, hey guys, say hi to the training class, because it keeps you up and going, right? So have a cheerful disposition. Going to 2024, not a tight your chest. Hey, we still have plenty to go, but time is going. So the wicked take bribes under the table. They show nothing but contempt for justice. If you are in a position in government or in work or something, right? It's only wickedness that will make you take bribes just to subvert the truth. Don't be that kind of person. Do you understand? Don't be that kind of person. Make sure that as much as possible, you do the things you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do them. Next point is the perceptive find wisdom in their own front yard. Fools look for it everywhere, but right here, the wisdom you are looking for. The thing where they find for Sokoto, is there inside your Sokoto. It's in front of you. Take every day. One of the things that I like to tell people is that assess your this. And I journal a lot. I've been journaling for about 4 years now, every day. So journal, and when you journal, look at 5 things. Sorry. The first one is your faith. So journal about your faith. How was I in terms of faith today? The second one is family. How was I in terms of family? The third one is fitness. This is me. This is how I journal in terms of fitness. How am I in terms of fitness? What did I do? Did I work out? Did I eat too much? Right? And then finance. Finance is all about how much money did I make? Did I talk to clients? Did I do this? Did I do that? And then the last one is flourish, personal development. How much am I developing myself? The perceptive find wisdom in their own front yard. You must mine the gold of yesterday to invest in your future. What does that mean? When a day passes, mine the gold. What are the gemstones? What are the gifts? What are the gemstones I can take from it? And then how can I invest it in the future to move on, right? A surly, stupid child is shaping to a father a bitter pill for a mother to swallow. It's just reiterating what we said. Don't be a surly, stupid child. Leave stupidity in 2023. You are wiser. Move into 2024 with wisdom and discernment. It's wrong to penalize good behavior or make good citizens pay for the crime of others. That is the issue that we're having in Nigeria. You do good, they penalize you. You join queue, the fuel finishes, you don't shunt. You don't do chua, you suffer. You go to do your passport, you don't give them bribe. What will happen? Your passport doesn't come out on time. And then those that give the bribes, their passport comes out on time. That's the issue. As a country, we need to learn to stop penalizing good behavior. Do you know that there was a day I stood by a red light and somebody came and was insulting me? And you know, the interesting thing was that this guy had his children in the car. And I'm like, what are you saying? My children now know red means to stop, green means to go. Do you understand? So let's not penalize good behavior. And then the one who knows much says little. An understanding person remains calm. No, they talk too much. You understand? Cool your prayer. Take it easy. Do you understand? And even donkeys who keep quiet are thought to be wise. As long as they keep their mouth shut, they are smart. But I'm going to change it. I'm going to say, as long as they keep their mouth shut, they are wise. So going into 2024, my dear Wiserians, I tell you to keep calm. It's not everything that you have to talk. The distance between stimulus and action, that is where your power lies. And I believe that if we lengthen that time, that distance, the more powerful we'll become, the more wiser we'll become. And as you go around and you're having a beautiful 2024, I want you to know that I believe in your capacity to be great. Thank you very much, JD, for having me. It was really fun. And I'm having goosebumps. This was amazing.
Gosh, see how you just were spinning this same chapter that we've read for 4 years, like we've never seen it before. Thank you so much. You could see from the chat that everyone was getting insight. I already know, even before we start hearing the testimonials, that people are making better decisions for their family life and living, and not just family life, living with people, human relations. Thank you. You really were able to unpack it in a way that is real to us. So when we're about to make some silly decisions and we're about to penalize good, we would remember, right? Thank you so much, my brother. I'm so grateful. The messages are just coming. So people, what you can do for us is when we drop the thank you flyer, please tag him, put it on your stories on Instagram and tag him and tell everyone, hey, this was the guy who spoke here today and it was profound. Please do that. I am so grateful. Somebody is saying, thank you, sir. Jaza Kumula Khairan.
Khairan.
What does that mean?
Thank you very much. It means like praying for blessings on you.
Amen to that. Thank you. We pray for blessings on you, on your family. Congratulations on your 11th anniversary. Kisses to the babies. We love them. And we can't wait to do a video call.
Yes, so.
All right, bro. Have a blessed Sunday, everyone. God bless you. We love you. Bye for now.